In this video, guys, we are going to be looking at passing plays out of the gun-wing flex offset, and in particular, the passing play called double cross. Now, this play doesn't really look like much from the onset, but it is actually going to be one of our main passing plays from this formation, and I'll show you how we use it. First, I'm going to go against two-man under, just to show you how to beat man coverage or how I use this to beat man coverage. Now, this play, stock, isn't really that great, okay? But what we do have, or what you guys, the way you should have it set up is, unless you have a hot route master, you should have your slot apprentice here, and you should have your backfield master here. If you have a hot route master, it doesn't really matter. Just have a really good route running guy in the slot. But what I like to do against man coverage is I like to put Evans on a corner route, and I'll put my halfback on a Texas route. You can run it stock like this, no problems. You have several different routes that got open, and I really need to get into the habit of getting off the safety when I show these examples because it ends up muddying up the play. But corner route, Texas route, you have your tight end drag, you have your halfback route, you've got your corner route. I'm just going to throw the ball away, and we're going to take a look at the different routes that got open on this. So my first read typically with this play is going to be the tight end. If he gets free off the line right away, boom, snap throw to him. Second read I like to look at is this corner route. If the safeties have drifted back like this, I know my corner route will be open if they're in man coverage. I use Reggie Wayne in this spot, but if you use anybody with good medium route running, this route is really, really good. All right. The other routes, we have a deep in route from the tight end. We're going to make that a little bit better here in this next example because I don't really love the spacing of these routes. But we also have the tight end, or excuse me, the running back on this Texas route, which is a really, really great route against man coverage if you can get the right matchup. Now, the reason I said I don't really like the deep in route is because I think it is just too close to the Texas route, or the angle route, whatever you want to call it. I just think it just muddies up everything. So what I do to make it a little bit better is I motion snap this tight end. And we're going to utilize this motion a couple of different times in our other passing plays. So it's something your opponent's going to get used to seeing but not knowing what's coming. So I'm going to wait till right before he sets. And it is Stephon Gilmore, be aware. Okay, Gronk did a decent enough job right there on the break. Gronk is not the best route running tight end in the game. There are some really, really good ones in MUT, like Jimmy Graham, Jermichael Finley, Sharp. There's just a Waller. There's a lot of good guys a lot of tight ends that this route will be really good with. But again, motion snap it, and now our spacing is a lot better. Tight end on the drag, then the halfback, then the corner route, then the deep route. And sometimes if you have your really fast guy on the outside, and this doesn't really happen that often in MUT, but just say you're playing regs. Say this is, if I put Scotty Miller out here and there was no safety help over the top, this route will typically get an outside release. And if it's a fast guy and he can just run right past them, you're in business. Now, that is man coverage. Oh, wait, one more thing against man coverage. Well, a couple more things. Pay attention to the alignment of the corners, okay? Not that they're just over the receiver so it looks like man coverage, but they're shaded, okay? Two-man under will, by default, shade everybody to the inside. The whole goal is to press the receivers to the outside where the safety help is going to be. So typically, you're not going to see a lot of post routes getting open against this coverage, all right? So you want to be aware of that before the snap of the ball, right? They're all shaded inside. Okay, this is probably two-man under. Let's go ahead and take these corner routes and our underneath drag and Texas route. If they do change it up, you'll notice. If they shade to the outside, now they're clearly shaded to the outside. They're on the opposite hip. So you can really adjust. So now we can put our guy on a post, and we can motion snap this route like we have been. Okay? So be aware of that. The other thing you can do, too, is say you're getting – people like to blitz out of man coverage now, especially since, the MCS and you saw I forget what his name was running the 3-4 bear. I want to give him credit, but I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry. With the cover 0, right? If I face that particular defense, first off, I pay attention to where the corners are shaded. All right, they're shaded to the outside in this example. What I'm going to do is I'm going to max protect. I'm going to leave my X receiver on a fly route. Hopefully he gets that outside release and beats that guy deep. If not, I have my post route. But then I also, what I can do is I can motion snap this tight end, and before he sets, I can put him on a slant. So you literally have to put that hot route out there while he's motioning. You cannot put him on a slant while he's at the line because he'll turn into that delay route. Speaking of delay routes, okay, we all know, most of the more savvy Madden players and the guys that are really used to Madden 21 know that the tight end delayed fade is a really good route in this game. Tom Brady's not going to be the best at showing this because it's really good when you roll out of the pocket, and Tom Brady's kind of a statue, but we'll go ahead and try to make it. Typically what will happen is, it's really tough to deal with Tom, but the guy that's covering that tight end will start to go after the quarterback, and then you can release the tight end on the fade. Shout out to Zan at Gridiron Game Plans. I think he put that out first. I don't know who put out what first, but I know it's on his site. That's where I learned it from. They will, they will attack the quarterback and leave the tight end open. Now let's look at zone coverage. Oh, I didn't mean to hit start. I apologize. Because this play has really good spacing to it and really good levels to it, it's also going to be great against zone coverage. So once again, double cross. Let's come out. Let's go ahead and cover the sky. All right, we can run it like this with the motion snap. Take your underneath routes if they're there. We'll run it the exact same way we run it against man coverage. Or we can get a little bit different with it, okay? What do I mean by different with it? Okay, so we can do a lot of different things, all right? If it's zone coverage, it's really nice to sometimes have a smoke screen on the field. So you can do something like that on the left side to create that smash concept. Now you can put your halfback on a table route, all right? Other tight end on a streak. And now we have this nice square in on the right side of the field with this really quick table route. If they don't have hard flats out there, we can hit that table route. We can hit that deep in because the tight end kind of pushes those zones back across the middle of the field. So you can get really creative with it. I typically, from this play, won't send the tight end on a post because it kind of nullifies our in route. End up like running into each other. It's not. If this Y route was out on the far left, I'd say yeah, but I'm not a huge fan of this in particular because look at where they're like right next to each other when they get open. So not a huge fan of that. You can try a deep crossing route every now and then to kind of attack that part of the field, especially if they're like manning this guy up or trying to Mabel that side of the field. That deep crossing route will sometimes get open. But you got to be careful against really good corners because you saw Stephon Gilmore. If there's no vertical push there, good corners will make a play on that ball. Let's take a look at cover 2. And I'm actually going to move this back to the middle of the field so you have proper spacing. One other thing to note. I don't like flipping this formation, and I'll show you why. I'll flip it right now and just get it out of the way. I'll show you why. Remember the motion we talked about with Mike Evans in the previous video with the run, and he kind of lined up at tight end? Well, if I flip the play and I try to motion him to the right, it doesn't work. No longer happens. So I like to keep this formation unflipped, and I know it appears stupid because we'll be attacking the short side of the field, but we have other plays where we're going to attack the right side of the field on the tight end side, and we can kind of just flip-flop between those plays instead of flipping the formation. But I actually don't really utilize that motion in this play too much. The only time I would do it is if I put Evans on a corner route, motion him left, and then of course he does the motion to the right. And then this is kind of the play that you get. You got some nice high-low reads over the middle of the field. It puts those guys in the middle of the field into conflict as to which routes they can guard. they kind of have to Mabel the right side in order to really guard all those routes. So this is a decent one to throw in every now and then. But I do like using this motion with another play in particular a little bit better. But cover 2 is real simple. Take the underneath stuff first. You can do this same setup. This is just a great zone beater all around. So there's nothing really specific in this play that we use to beat cover 2 deep, but in the next 2 plays I will show you how to beat cover 2 for a touchdown, and also cover 3. So go ahead and check out the next video. I'm going to look at our shot play in the next video.